So I rewatched the Blair Witch Project tonight, and this has always been one of my favorite found footage horror films. I have always preferred and liked this more than Paranormal Activity. This is in like my top five, maybe even top two favorite found footage horror films, and that was my previous opinion. But upon tonight's viewing, upon my opinion, as for my statement now on where I lay on this movie, I don't enjoy this movie at all. I think this movie is incredibly dated. Um, the movie's very boring, but I will get to the negative at why my opinion has changed. But I went into this movie wanting to like it as much as I have the other viewings, which I've seen this movie quite a lot because I think this is a very effective, small, low budget found footage horror film. But anyways, let's talk about what I liked in the movie. The found footage side of this movie. I think the found footage. I think that's probably the best style this movie could have shot in. I think it's a very effective film technique, especially in this film. I think they really utilize the found footage really well, and it adds an extra layer to the fear and the dread of the film. What else did I like in this movie? The set design, or like the creepy symbols that appear at night and just appear in random places. I think they I think they are really creepy because there's just some like creepy like appearance. It's just like some creepy like symbolism like to them. It just feels like really, really creepy when it just feels like it's a cursed area. It just feels like there's a curse and there's a witch following and looking at them like every move. And it's like wherever they go, there's like these symbols like made by like little twigs and all that. And there's like rocks all stacked up on top of each other. And in the first few minutes of this movie, like they're making a documentary as um, I think you already know, and they're interviewing and they're interviewing locals who live in this town who know of the legend Blair Witch, and one of them told a story about the rocks, um, and the main character brings it up when she actually sees it. So it's a rock stacked on top of a rock, and I thought that was really creepy. I thought that added a creepy layer to the atmosphere and the environment of this movie. What else did I like? I liked the last 15 minutes of this movie because the last 15 minutes really goes for it, and then there's some really distressing stuff in the last 15 minutes. Um, because this house just suddenly appears out of nowhere. Like they've been in this forest for I think it was for 4 days, I want to say, but I might be wrong. But anyways, like they've been in it for like 3, 4 days, these characters, and then they suddenly just come across this house in the middle of nowhere that's very broken down. It's very old. There's spider webs. It's all very rotten inside. And this it's just in the middle of nowhere, and and I thought there was some really distressing stuff, especially with the amount of intense screaming going on in the last 15 minutes. I thought I thought that was very distressing. Some of that stuff, and then the last shot of the movie is the character just dropping the camera, and I think that's supposed to be our cue that the witch has taken the characters, killed them. And another thing I can also give praise to this movie is the marketing campaign with the missing posters and the website. I've never seen the website, but like I've seen the like snapshots and screenshots of it and all that. And the missing posters I think worked really well. I think this film works really well as being a real life story, because when you watch it, like when you watch the film, like you totally buy into this being a real life story, just the way it plays out, just the way the actors, like they don't feel like actors, they just feel like normal people just filming. That's what it feels like. And like and you totally buy into this being being friends, just hanging out, making a documentary about the Blair Witch. Like you totally buy into that. But then we found out that the film wasn't real, and they really nailed the marketing campaign for this movie. But yeah, that's really all I have to say regarding positives for this movie. So now moving over to the negatives. The characters are dumb in this movie. Like when Josh goes missing, like they hear Josh's voice and they continue filming. So they don't go out and look for Josh, like for like a large majority of the second half of the second act, and at least a good quarter of the third act, it's just the characters yelling, Josh, 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 where are you? Josh, 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 Josh. How annoying is that? Yelling his name will not resolve the problem. I found that just so dumb that they just kept on filming when their friend is disappearing. And they can hear his voices. Turn on the camera, like surely your friend's life is more important than making a documentary. Like, I mean, like, I can see why, but still, any person would go save their friend's life instead of filming. One of the characters throws the map into the lake, and that's how they get into this whole mess of being lost. And I could see that moment was trying to be very dramatic, and it was going. I can see the scene was aiming towards being like friends turning against each other. Like I can see that the scene was going that direction where one of the friends confesses that he threw the lake because he had no faith in where we were going, and he didn't think that the map was helping. Bullshit. Why would you throw the map in the lake? That by the end of this movie, that probably would have became the number one tool for you to get out alive, and maybe none of what happened in the third act would have happened. But yeah, like I said, like they need some, I guess, dramatic level. They need some intense level. They need some scary level to this movie. So I can see why they did that, and it does. One thing I did like about that scene is it does decrease the trust in that character. Like the other two characters don't trust him. Don't trust him anymore to hold the compass or to hold any of the important shit that they need, because he lost the map. Which, if you're in the middle of nowhere, why would you throw out the map? If you're in the middle of nowhere, you're going to die. it's if you don't have a map, like you'll be just walking around. Like who knows? You could just be walking around in circles and you might not know it. But yeah, it's just like the characters just make the most dumb decisions that, in the end, probably could have been the one tool that actually saved them. But yeah, these characters like don't even really have much development to them. I don't really remember the characters' names besides Josh. The only reason why I remember Josh's name is because they constantly like were yelling it in the second act. And when you hear the name Josh that much, it's just like the name. It's you're basically like, yeah, I got it. His name is Josh. But yeah, then the other characters, I can't even remember their names in this movie. But yeah, the characters, I felt were just very. I mean, there was some development to them. Like you do learn somewhat about our main female actress character in this movie. Um, but then yeah, the characters just like as a whole, um, it's yeah, the development. There could have been a lot more development used for these characters. And moving on to my last negative, this film is just boring. Like it's just characters just walking around in circles and they end up in the same place and they don't do much besides walking. And for those scenes in particular, when they're walking, you could at least fill those scenes with something interesting. Maybe an event from these characters' past, like maybe what their family life is like. Because it seems like these are just um, filming friends. It doesn't seem like they're really close together. It doesn't seem like they've really known each other for like a long time. It just seems like that they're kind of just working together. Um, but yeah, like we could have like filled those scenes with some sort of character development. That would have at least made those scenes somewhat of an investment, or some would have made the characters like stand out more. Like maybe an event, like I don't know, like maybe one of them saw the Blair Witch in their nightmares or something, or I don't know, or maybe a childhood fear, or just any little piece of character development would have helped make these characters more interesting to the viewer, because I wasn't really invested, because the characters just walking around just saying, oh, that's creepy, oh, that's creepy, oh, that's creepy. That's honestly what they're doing the entire time. They're, they're just showing like those little symbols that appear all over the place, and yeah, that's honestly all they do in this movie. And like when they are walking, it would have made it so much better if it was filled um, with character development, like with some more human moments. Another thing I will give credit to the movie for is the acting. Like when everybody is arguing, like the acting is really on point. In those scenes, I thought everyone did a terrific job in this movie. And it's a shame that this movie didn't hold up, because this used to be my favorite found footage horror film. But upon this viewing, this film has dropped down a few spaces. I mean, it's still a good film. And like I said, I don't hate this film. This is definitely a well crafted, a very well directed movie, might I add, a very well shot, a very realistic movie, and it's well edited. It's edited like a student film would, which is who these characters are. So that's another thing I would give credit to the film for, is is it's edited like a student film would be. And so yeah, I will give the film that, but yeah, it's a shame that the film like it did not does not hold up. Does not hold up as well for me. Like I was disappointed by that because I really all I wanted to do is just to switch on this camera and say, "Oh, Blair Witch is the most terrifying movie I have seen," and it still is the most terrifying movie I've seen. Like, that's all I wanted to do after I watched this movie. Just come on camera and just say that. I didn't want to switch on my camera and say that I I I dislike this movie. I did not want to say that, but yeah, this movie like I said, it's still a good watch. But it's just like it just had a few problems just that really stood out to me upon this viewing, and that the film just doesn't hold up as well as it did as it used to do for me. So anyways, I will be reviewing Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows, so I should have that up tomorrow sometime. I'll be watching it tonight, and I should have a review up tomorrow sometime for you guys. But yeah, in the meanwhile, let me know down in the comments, have you seen the Blair Witch Project? If so, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you think it was mad? Or did you really not like it? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening or night, wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Super tired. I need to get some sleep. Alright, bye.